Yo, what's up trainers, welcome back to a new video, and in today's video we're gonna be diving once again before it's gone into the Great League Remix Cup, and I want to showcase you Melmetal. It's a bit of an off-meta pick, a little bit of spice, I would say so myself, because it's really frail but it outputs a lot of damage, and then well, it's not that frail, it can tank some moves, but I used it also with the Thundershock and Superpower, and as well with the Thunderbolt moveset. Why? Because I think in this meta there are a lot of flyers and water types around, so just making sure that you will win those matchups even more securely. Thunderbolt is just the way to go in my opinion at this certain point of time. So without further ado, if you're new to this channel, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and react down below what you think of this team. And in the first match we got the Knights or the Scissor on the lead, and they say swap into their Gramble, and I'm just gonna farm a lot, making sure that we get almost to the back-to-back Thunderbolts, farming up to a max 100 energy. And then I will throw my move. They will probably no shield this move, so I'm just gonna under tap it a bit, making sure that we get a little bit more energy. We get one more Thundershock through, which is fine, and now this will allow us to go for this Superpower here, and then we will reach another one because they cannot farm us down with the Bullet Punch, and now they will have a Victory Bell in the back, and this game is going to be over because they will probably shield up this move, because obviously Victory Bell is really frail. It outputs a lot of, or outputs so much damage, but in general it cannot take any move, and we got the answer for it in the back with another steel type, and we can just easily reach double Ice Punch in this matchup before they even reach another move, and they acid spray us, which is fine, but honestly it doesn't really matter at this point too much, and my opponent knows it, so they're gonna let that one go, and that's going to be a GG. So we face a Sand Slash on the lead in this match, which is a positive lead for us, and they say swap into a Quagsire, and obviously we don't have that answer, or a great answer for a safe swap of Quagsire, so I'm just going to decide to stay in, play out this matchup, and see what it brings us. So in general, if your opponent swaps in, swapping it takes a turn, meaning that in general if you just stay in and go for the mud bombs before your opponent does, you should be able to just win this by outpacing your opponent by a turn every time. So they will reach it right now, we will reach it as well. I'm just gonna go for it as soon as I get there. We lose CMP because mine is a very high attack, or a very high ranked one, so my attack is 0. In general I will lose those CMPs, or it will be a coin flip, and here my opponent actually decides to shield up, which is fine, which is also a big mistake because I will outpace them right now. I'm not too sure if I should have outpaced them here, because I think they were at the move, but they may be overfarmed. And here I'm just gonna hard swap in to my Sand Slash, and they got the Golbat in the back, so that's going to be a GG. We still also had the Melmetal in the back, who was going to sweep endgame as well if my Sand Slash wasn't going to do that anyways. So we face off yet another Quagsire, this time on the lead, and Quagsire obviously is a very big core breaker for my backline. It just counters basically my whole it counters my whole backline, and so we have to stay in this matchup. I'm not gonna play into CMP, at least that's what I'm trying. I do throw every time on the move, but that's also kind of like a strategy way of playing, the way of play I like, because when you coming up on the higher elo, people don't expect you to go on the move as soon as you get it. So that's basically sort of like a game plan or a strategy, the way I like to play against some opponents. Sometimes I don't do it because you have to obviously put that variety in to be always unexpected. And here, as you can see, we will lose that lead matchup, just because the fact that we will lose CMP, because we do not have a very high, or we do not have a high attack stat, but that's fine because it does allow us to farm up some extra energy and start this matchup with a energy lead. And what do they bring? It's actually going to be that Mandibuzz, and obviously when they come in with a Mandibuzz against the Sand Slash, you already know that whatever's going to be in the back is not going to have a great time against my Melmetal. Here we make a nice catch, making sure that we secure some HP on our Sand Slash, and now what do they have in the back? That is going to be a Golbat, and we obviously got the Thunderbolt. Now will they respect the damage? I think they will, because obviously Rock Slide is also the moveset that they probably expect, and they shield up, and that's going to be fine. Now if we reach the double double ice punches, we will win anyways, but we reach another thunderbolt, so big mistake by my opponent if they have, because they had the move obviously, and that's going to be a GG because we win CMP over the Golbat, which is also something really nice about using Melmetal. It wins a lot of CMPs because it has a really high attack set. It's a legend or a Master League Pokemon, so in general those do have a higher attack set than those Great League mons. So as you can see right now, we face yet another Quagsire on the league. You love to see it. So we're gonna play it just the same way as we did before, by just spamming out these mud bombs and hoping that we will get this thing out of the way. But in general, as you can see, my opponent is playing it the exact same way. That just basically gives away that whatever's going to be in the back doesn't like the mud bomb on the front, and in general we do have those counters for it in the back. So as you can see, they're gonna stay swap into that Dugong, which is fine because we have the hard, or not the hardest, but we have a very hard answer for it in the back, and we're gonna go for the Thunderbolt as soon as we can get there, because that will allow us to just output a lot of damage. And if they go for the drill run, which they will, we can easily tank one. And maybe we commit to the farm down before they reach their next move. Now let's see if we can do so. We can just before they reach, and this is going to be perfect, because if they decide to come in with the Quagsire, they might think they win CMP, but they don't, obviously, because Melmetal is just outputting the work. And that's just what I'm trying to say to you. Melmetal is so good in these matchups, just due to the fact that obviously it gains a lot of energy very quickly. The energy that it gains with the moveset that it has, it's just very good in this meta, and I think it's a bit underrated, obviously, and also the fact that it wins a lot of CMPs makes it a really strong Pokemon to use. So here, this is going to be a GG. We can easily double shield. Doesn't really matter if they bait us, which they did in the first place. I was tempting to call the bait, but I was also like, nah, I don't have to call the bait in this scenario, because there's no way they will reach a Blast Burn before I reach yet another Ice Punch, which we will right now. And this one is not going to KO, I think, slightly. No, but we will get the farm down with one more Shadow Claw, and that's going to be another GG. So very well played. So finally we face a Toxapex. Obviously our whole team does very well against the Toxapex, and they stay swap into a counter user. So obviously we don't have the greatest answer for this as well. So we just have to stay in, play out this matchup, and make sure that we get some type of advantage. But here I try to catch the body slam, which didn't work out, and now we are in a tricky position, or honestly, and they even bait us with a bulldoze, which is not ideal as well, or with a body slam, which is not ideal as well. So I actually decided to go down 2 shields. Now let's see if we can come back from this. I'm just gonna overfarm until we got the back-to-back, and now let's see how my opponent is going to play this. Are they going to let this move go through? Yes, they are. And now let's see what are they going to bring back. They're gonna take their double shield advantage, which is obviously not a bad decision. But now let's see what do they have in the back. Is it going to be something that we can still handle? We're gonna go for the move, and here I'm actually deciding to swap out and make sure that we throw these moves at the Toxapex to get it low. But in general, I think depending on what they have in the back end, it's going to be a Scrafty. This game is going to be over. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out for us this time, and I maybe should have played this better looking back at it in hindsight. Maybe I should have just stayed in, but in general, because of the fact that I had the Scrafty in the back, I did have to swap out at some point, just because otherwise I would have been stuck with a Quagsire that would have been gone, and I would have had 2 Pokemons in the back that were extremely weak against the Scrafty. So I'm hoping that they will let this go. They don't, and at this point the game is over, so I top left. Alrighty, and next one, we have a Sandslash on the lead, which is obviously a Pokemon that we can handle very well. And this is actually the game which I really like, where a matchup which I don't really play a lot, obviously. So I didn't really know how this one was going to go, especially due to the fact that they have Confusion instead of Psycho Cut, which does a bit more damage, obviously, but it generates a bit slower the charge moves. So I'm just gonna go for the Thunderbolt. Now let's see, that does a decent amount of damage, and on good timing at the end of their fast move animation, we throw yet another one, and this does actually also a decent amount. So I think when they reach another one, we will get taken out by the Moonblast, so we have to shield, so I'm not going to allow it and just go for the superpower straight away, and this actually KO. So that was a really nice showcase of how strong Melmetal can be, especially due to the fact that we reach yet another superpower, which is just insane, and that is going to grab a shield, obviously, because that would have been, I don't know, quadruple super effective against the Stand Slash. So we can let this move go through. It's going to be the Ice Punch, and I'm just going to go for the Mud Bomb as soon as I can get there. Why? Because we have shield advantage anyway, so I don't really care if they catch it on another Pokemon. And if they do, we are going to try to catch it ourselves. And if this is going to be the Ice Punch, if this game wasn't over already, this game should be over right now, depending on what they have in their back. And my opponent knows it as well, and they're gonna top left. So GG's, very well played to my opponent. So we face a Dragonite. Obviously, we got the answers for it in the back, but I decided to stay in, I think, in this game. Yeah, I decided to stay in, go for the Stone Edge, but we're gonna bait, actually, which is fine, because in general, obviously, Shadow Dragonite cannot take any move in the Great League, and they're gonna shield up the move. And here I'm trying to catch the Dragon Claw, but they hold on to their energy, and they're gonna fire off one right now before we reach the Rock Slide, or the potential Rock Slide, obviously. So I'm just gonna decide to shield up, and they're gonna swap into a Toxapex. Fantastic. This is why we are running Thunderbolt in this scenario, in this meta, just because of the fact that there are a lot of flyers, Toxapex, well, you name it, and we will just easily win this matchup. They know it by now because they've seen the move. There's basically nothing they can do, and we will just overfarm a lot, making sure that we get some energy against the opposing Dragonite, which will come in probably, and they know that we don't have Rock Slide by now, or they still can assume that we have, but they have a Figurot in the back, which is fine, but this is still kind of scary, because now they will load up on a lot of energy on their Figurot. So now this is a tricky situation, because we don't have a lot of HP left on our Quagsire, but I hope that we will be able to survive this Body Slam and then reach the Stone Edge to output just a lot of damage, which we do, and that is absolutely fantastic, because now this will allow us to, I think, just reach one Ice Punch and take them out. I'm gonna instantly swap, and my opponent does the same, which is a bit scary, but I think if we shield up this move, I was expecting them to go for the Dragon Claw, but I wasn't having the balls today to make those decisions right, and just play it safe. And here we go for the Ice Punch. I overfarm by one, because I think a Body Slam won't be able to KO us after some counter damage. And here we go for the move. We outpace them, and now this should be enough, I think, just about to KO, because we are Shadow, and it is enough, and that's going to be a GG. So very well played, close one there. And now we face a Napoleon, which is a nice Pokemon to see, obviously a bit off meta, and we have the answers for it, as well as we have the answer against their safe swap of the Mandibuzz. And in this case, I already know the team, well, in general, which is going to be Napoleon double flyer. So I expect them to have, well, whatever flyer in general in the Great League they are running. Altaria in the back as well, but this time Altaria obviously I think is banned, so it's not going to be an Altaria, but it's probably going to be another flyer. And if that's the case, then this is going to be RPS, because we can just easily hard counter them. Here I actually decided to shield up. Why? Because Melmetal obviously is going to output a lot of damage against their Empoleon as well with the moveset. Obviously this moveset is so good, I'm telling you, trainers, it's so good. And here we're gonna go for the superpower, I think on good timing, because now we won't get fainted by the waterfall, and we actually reach yet another one. I'm telling you, Melmetal is MVP of this team, because it just grabs shields or it outputs a lot of damage. So now we're gonna go once again for the farm down here. We can easily tank one move. We're gonna swap probably after this, and what do they have in the back? It's going to be a Dragonite. So yeah, double flyer strategy. As I said, this is basically the same team. I was saying the Altaria, but obviously that one is going to be banned in this meta, but it was, well, a sort of like an Altaria, right? So here they safe swap into a double, which is obviously again a tricky Pokemon for us to see, because those counter users, you don't really like that for your backline, but anyways, you can play around those. So now let's see how are we going to play in this game. And here we're gonna try to catch, and we actually catch the Body Slam. So that is a huge catch, because now this will allow us to just take some double kicks. They can only go for their nuke move, if that's going to be the Wild Charge or the Payback, doesn't really matter, but this was too soon to be any one of those. So we're just gonna take this damage, and I'm just gonna farm up till the back-to-back, making sure that we either get 2 shields or that my opponent is going to let this go, and we will have something stored for whatever they're gonna bring in, which is going to be the Steelix. So I'm just gonna throw it straight away, making sure that my opponent doesn't get too much farm on their Steelix. And do we reach another one? We cannot, just about, which is unfortunate, but obviously it doesn't really matter because we have some energy stored on our Quagsire, because the energy lead they have right now doesn't really make sense, or doesn't really give them the advantage that they might think they have, because we already have the energy because we stayed in that first lead matchup. And now they're gonna go for the move. Here I actually decide to shoot up because we are sort of low on HP and I don't want to get hit by that Psychic Fangs. And what do they have at the back? Yet another flyer, and this team is just putting in the work right now. Sandslash is going to take this one. We can easily go for the Ice Punch. They let it go actually, and I'm just gonna shoot up this move. I know it's probably not going to be the Shadow Ball because it was just too soon, obviously. But in general it doesn't really matter unless they have Earthquake. They are not at the move right now. We're gonna throw again on good timing. They can only go for the Psychic Fangs at this point, or the Crunch, but we will be able to take one of those. Only the Earthquake would be detrimental, but we will reach another Ice Punch at this point. So yeah, I could already see that this was going to be a W as soon as the Golbat swapped in, because if they reach one right now we would be still able to farm them down. They needed more energy than the HP we had left. So another very well alright lead, I would say. And my opponent here actually save swap at the same time. We are we're going to save swap. Why? Because we have 2 greater answers for the Golbat in the back. So there is a chance that the Quagsire will do pretty good against whatever is going to be in the back. So I was just going to instantly swap, and my opponent did the exact same thing because they were probably trying to make work of their ABB line. And here we are actually able to grab both shields again. Once again, Melmetal, MVP of this team. And once this Figaro is out of the way, I think this game is going to be over. Because we have the Sandslash. Shadow Sandslash is an absolute menace. I'm gonna shoot up once just to preserve some HP. Go for the Stone Edge here, making sure that we get a lot of damage off. I'm not too sure actually. Let me know down in the comments below if it's better to go for double Mud Bomb in this scenario, or just to go for the higher attack output move. And here they actually reach another move, which is fine, and I hope that we will be able to survive and reach another Mud Bomb, which we do. And now the Figaro is out of the way, and this will open the way for us to hopefully sweep endgame, because we have the Shadow Sandslash, and now they will react with the Cresselia, and this is probably going to be a GG. They have some energy stored obviously on their Golbat. We can tank all the moves. Everything is going to be resisted from the moveset of Cresselia in general, I think, with the future sight. And of course we get the attack drop. So this is actually not over yet. This actually puts them, helps them a lot, because now I need a bit more damage off, and I cannot over farm as much. I would have left this matchup probably with more energy, but now because of the fact that our attack fell, I have to throw at some point. So now I'm just going to swap here, and this game should be over. I didn't really try to catch here, but I know I will lose CMP, but this Shadow Ice Punch is going to be easily enough to take down the Golbat, I think. But in general, I know pretty sure the output of my Pokemons and the damage that it's going to do. And as you can see, we actually take it out. So that's going to be a GG. That's also going to be it for this video. Let me know if you enjoyed this spice. If so, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment if you haven't already. And without further ado, I will try to make some content later this week as well for the Fossil Cup. Let me know if you're excited about that one as well. And yeah, without further ado, I will see you trainers in the next video. Peace.